sliding down a side street like a hazmat loaded truck. The world is full of heroes, but I don't give a damn. The deities once lived there, but they're not there anymore. The Dodgers moved to L.A., the Mets still play in Queens. I don't know where God is, but the devil's in New Orleans.
So you are all feeling a good bit better because you've had a chance to kind of bind your wounds. You've also had a good meal, and actually a good night's rest. Probably one of the best in a while.
And is Sarah feeling better with her clothing too?
You did not get any clothing for her yet.
Oh, no? Okay, I thought...
No, you haven't had a chance to. Yeah.
Okay.
You head downstairs. She's still wearing her trench coat. And when you head downstairs, you see a young boy. He looks like he's about 8 years old, got dark hair. And he says, did you like your breakfasts?
Yes.
He says, well, please have a seat. You come down. He brings, some, looks like some sausages and some fresh bread, and he also brings you some fruit, and then takes your order for drinks, and sets them down there, and so then quickly heads off. Nobody else is in the common room. You guys are the first ones down there. You do hear what sounds like the beginning to a day beginning outside. Few people walking down the street, some bells ringing, maybe a few hawkers that are trying to sell their wares. It's much quieter than when you first got there, though. So it looks like it's the beginning of the day. Right. Okay. Finish your breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What next?
I'm going to reach in my pocket for change.
Yeah, you got a little bit.
I'm going to say...
What are you going to say?
Are you looking for some clothes for
I
Hera?
forgot his name.
Who?
Bunk?
Bunk.
Swift?
Swift.
Swift.
All I could think was Flint. I don't know why.
I was so confused. Like, I reach in, I grab my change, and I say...
That's why I have no clue.
I was really lost, yeah.
She said
We didn't
that.
plan this out, yeah.
I was like, Swift. Can any of this buy something for hair to wear?
I've got plenty of money for hair. Keep your money. We may need that in the future.
Okay.
Your money is worth much more than mine is.
All right. So I need her to have enough. I think she'll feel it
I'm sure
better
she would.
if she has a clothing.
He leans. He kind of walks over and he kneels down in front of Hera and talks to her and he says, "Okay, we need to find someone who's a tailor around here. Do you see the little boy that you hired earlier?"
Told him to make himself available, but I think he made himself
outside.
scarce.
He's actually outside the front door. He's waiting outside the front door, and he sees you look outside and he goes, "Oh yes, mistress. Is there anything else you require?"
Could you show us to a tailor?
I know the finest tailor in the city. Let me show you. And so he says, "Are you ready to go now?"
Are we ready to go now?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So you head out the street. This street's kind of wide, and he takes you again closer up the hill towards the castle. Takes you down a little side street, though. When I say little side street, it's still pretty wide, well lit. It's early. A lot of the shops are not open yet, but he takes you to a shop that has a sign sitting out front that's got a golden pair of scissors and a golden needle crossed. And the door's closed, and he walks up and he knocks on the door. You don't hear anything. And knocks a little louder. And finally you hear some noise from inside. The door opens, and there's this elderly gentleman, gray beard. He's got one monocle on, and he's got grayish hair. Most of it's missing from the top of his head. And he says, "What do you want, you scamp?" And he says, "Master, I have some people who are in need of your services, especially for the young lady who is wearing the oversized coat." And he goes, "Oh, God, it's early. Come in, come in, come in." And so the door swings open, and immediately what hits you in the face is the smell of coffee. And so the little boy kind of steps to the side of the door. You step inside. There's cloth in bolts everywhere. Silk, cotton, hemp, all kinds of things. There's just threads on little racks everywhere. And he says, "Come in, come in, come in. Would you like something to drink? I haven't had my coffee yet, and I'm not talking to you until I have my coffee."
I'll have a coffee.
Coffee for you. Anyone else?
Coffee.
He says, Mildred, coffee's for everyone. And this elderly lady comes out, and she kind of comes toddling out there and says, don't you yell at me about coffees for everyone. And he says, oh, just get the coffees. And she goes. And so she walks around, she steps into the back. A few minutes later, she comes out with a bunch of mismatched cups. And then she has a pot with her, and she pours coffee in there and hands each of you a cup. And then she heads towards the back. And he says, so, let's enjoy our coffee for a minute, in silence, if you wouldn't mind. And he starts drinking his coffee. It's actually really good coffee. So a few minutes goes by, and he finishes the cup, sets it on the table, and he says, now, what are we looking for?
Clothes for this young lady.
This young lady. Okay. Well, miss, would you mind standing up? Oh, and he realizes she's not wearing anything but underwear underneath the coat. And he says, miss, I'm going to need to take some measurements of you. I hope you don't mind. And Harold kind of looks at him and looks at him kind of askance and says, she looks at you, and you do what?
I can measure her.
And he kind of looks at you and says, if the clothes don't fit, don't blame me.
Well, do you have a lady who might work with you that would be willing to do it?
My wife can't see well enough to measure anymore.
Then I guess I will do it.
Fine. He reaches out and hands you a piece of rope.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, make the measurements. Okay. And he says, I need you to measure here. And I need you to measure here and here. And he starts telling you, I need you to make a craftsmanship roll.
This is going to be amazing.
That's all gonna.
For the first
If
all.
only
Can
I
I-
had a craft roll.
Can I get Darwin to examine this rope for me before?
Oh, you
I
mean
do it?
examine your measurements before you turn them in? Or what? Examine the rope?
Yeah, so I understand how it works.
It's a piece of rope.
But there's no markings on it. That's what I'm
Correct.
asking.
No,
Okay.
it's a piece of rope.
All right, Darwin.
Here's a rope. Measure.
All
Yeah.
right, Darwin, you ready?
Sure.
I need you to help me with this.
You get a +1.
So,
You get a
yeah.
+1 because he's
Okay.
helping. He's assisting.
is that it? A +1?
That's all you get. That's how it always
You
is.
should give me a +4 because he's like a master.
No,
craftsman.
you're the one. No, he could get a plus probably 6 if he was doing it.
How big is Hera compared to me?
Pretty small.
Oh.
Okay.
She's probably like 12. She's kind of thin and very waifish.
I got
Yes.
a +1, so what's that, 2?
All right, so you're taking your +2. You're taking measurements and stuff like that, and you're kind of relaying them to the guy, and he kind of okay, hold on, and he says he steps into the back, and he looks at the young hair, and he goes, "So, young lady, dress, pants. What are we looking here?" And Hera says, "I hate dresses," and he goes, "Good. Any particular color you like?" And she says, "Well, I kind of really like black." And he says, "Is there another color you like?" And she says, "Purple?" He says, "Just the thing." So he steps into the back, and he's gone. You know, his wife toddles out, pours you another cup of coffee. You're kind of sitting there sipping. Hera's kind of looking around and looking at some of the cloth, and probably all of you are kind of looking at the cloth. And he comes out, and he's got this bundle of clothes, and he says, "Here, you can step over there to the dressing room to try these on." And he hands her these clothes, and she kind of steps over to the dressing room, and she comes out in a few minutes. She's got this purple silk shirt, and it's sleeveless, and but so it leaves her arms free. And then, she's got these black pair of pants on, and they're just this dark, kind of looks like a hemp material, but it's black. And she's got these what looks like black boots that go with it, so it's purple and black. And she says, "Ooh, this is pretty. I like this. And it's so soft." And he says, "Well, it's silk. Of course it's soft. I hope it meets with your requirements." And she says, "Oh, this is nice." And she looks at you and says, "We can keep it."
You can keep it,
And he says, "Well, okay." She wasn't so hard to cut things for. It's going to be 5 silver.
Swift.
Okay. Swift reaches into his pocket,
I'm
hands
not
the
going to
guy,
pull any more money out after I got
hands
my
5 silver to him, and he says, "Well, if you need anything else, would the young lady be requiring a weapon to carry, or maybe a belt, or something like that?"
Weapon, no. Do you want a belt?
She goes, "Yeah, kind of like a weapon too." What are we talking about?
Okay.
Did you see
What
what happened to
belt
us?
and what?
I can
He
give her
says-
She's always done mental stuff, so
Well,
I'm not sure
so-
she even knows
so
how to use a weapon.
The tailor looks at her and says,
So she
Well-
can learn.
"Hold on. I have a friend who's a couple doors down. It's Dietrich, the leather worker. He can definitely hook her up with a belt, and I'm pretty sure he would have a scabbard for a maybe a dagger or something along those lines. I assume you'd want a dagger, young lady." And she looks at the guy and says, "No, I want a sword." And he says, "Well, Dietrich doesn't deal in swords. You'll need a weapon master. But if you talk to Dietrich, I'm sure he knows someone."
I think she's seen us with swords so often she must want
Yeah,
to.
who's her teacher walking
Yeah.
around with a sword, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, so he says, "Well, pleasure doing business with you. You gun, right? That's the way to go."
Yeah, you stand back far away.
Yeah.
And,
So you go a couple doors down, and there's a leather worker who looks like he has a picture of a goat on a sign. The little boy's with you, knocks on the door. Door opens immediately. There's a very skinny gentleman with dark hair. He looks very different from the guy who was the tailor. And he says, "What can I get you?" And opens the door, kind of pulls it back. A little bell rings as he does, and there's a bunch of cabinets and display cases of all kinds of leather goods. There's scabbards, there's belts, boots, gloves, pretty much anything you could be looking for. You can see on the wall that there's some leather armor hanging up. So yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna approach with. Is Hera with us still, or
Yo, she's still with you.
Okay.
Yes.
We're like, we need a belt for her. That's also doubles for
A sword?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
thinking something like this, and I'm gonna pull out the katana that.
Oh right.
Gabriel Beaumont gave me and be like, I'm gonna look at her and say, "This is on loan till we get you your own, but we need something that she can carry this around."
Yeah. So he walks over and he kind of looks in the display cases and he kind of looks at the katana and says, "Okay." And he pulls out this thin black belt and takes it and kind of ties it around the katana a little bit. It's actually got a holder that kind of slides onto it. And then he looks at her waist and says, "Here," hands it to her. And she kind of straps it around her waist and says, "Ooh, that fits really nice. It's this kind of nice, supple leather." And he says, "That'll be 1 silver." Swift reaches in, hands him the silver, and says, "Okay, well, good." So, yeah, she's got the katana from Gabriel Beaumont. Right. All right. So you step back onto the street. She has clothes now, and a sword and a scabbard. So
And
what are
more
you
of a
going to do?
pep to her step now.
Yeah, a little bit more pep in her step. Yeah. So
All
what are
right,
you doing now?
guys. So we need to get back to the other side.
well, do you think we might have some? Do you think there's any information about this dude?
That we could gather while we're here.
Here?
Yeah.
Archeleon?
Yeah.
Well, you do know that Archeleon tends to make himself, what you know, that about every 400 or 500 years he breaks into the Vatican and burns up all the records of him. But you don't know about the Nevernever. You're not sure.
Okay. Well, we can
That's
ask
it.
our.
Yeah. Is
we
there
could ask
something
our
like
page
a
boy.
a library or some?
What's that kid's name with the cloven hooves?
He hasn't given you a name yet.
Like, hey,
Hey y'all.
Yes.
what's your name?
Hasty.
Hasty. Hasty. Where would we go if we wanted to find? Is there a library or a place of?
Oh, yeah. There's a library.
Conservatory.
It's near the Temple of Thoth. I can lead you there.
That sounds good.
Good.
Great.
Do we know anything about Thoth?
Egyptian god of,
lore check.
Oh,
Maybe not. You don't know anything about Thoth. Ooh, well.
That's 4 for me.
Okay.
3 for me.
3, 4, and what'd you get, Jody? Lore check.
Yeah.
Wow.
A negative
4.
1.
Okay. Egyptian goddess of wisdom and intelligence and magic. So yes, you're right.
okay, nice.
Okay. The boy takes you, looks like kind of down the hill towards the west. You travel, again, more cobblestone streets. You notice that the city is beginning to become a little more alive now. You don't see any carts in these streets. You figure you're in kind of a little nicer part of the town. And you head towards what looks like there's an area of the city that has a lot of stone buildings. A lot of them look like they're made of granite, limestone, things like that. Several of them have domes. You're figuring it's an area of the city where there's a lot of temples.
Where there's a lot of dwarves.
Yes, a lot of dwarves, exactly. Well, actually, you have seen quite a few dwarves around, and none of them are singing "Hi Ho."
Oh,
okay.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, well, yeah.
None of them have air conditioners.
This is
I was
that's
just
right.
thinking.
You know the dwarves with the air conditioners. He maybe takes about 30, 45 minutes to get down the hill, and there's this huge building with a bunch of columns all around it, big dome in the middle, and he leads you up to the front steps and to the front door. This big, arched doorway, probably 20 feet in height, with wooden doors that are open. And he says, "That's the Library of Thoth."
Fair enough.
Cool. Okay. So
Step inside.
Yes.
Walk this way. Sorry. You step inside. There is a.
you left the van.
I tell you what. This looks exactly. If the New Orleans Library had been built 2,000 years ago, you're figuring this is what it would look like, because there's a big, desk, table, and there's a couple of young people standing behind it, and they're all wearing togas, interestingly enough, and you walk up to the reception desk.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Quick side question.
Yeah.
We've been traipsing around this Nevernever city for a little bit.
Mhm.
Is it kind of seeming like it's like laid out similarly to New Orleans, with landmarks resembling
Exactly.
New Orleans?
You there's definitely a lot of synchronicity going on,
Okay.
because you're thinking, I could probably figure out where the Superdome would be. There wouldn't be a Superdome, but there
So-
might be a gladiatorial
We could-
Coliseum. Right. You're getting a real
So-
distinct feeling.
We could pick our exit point,
Right.
basically.
So is there
Alright.
like a certain place where we go that there's just a whole bunch of cat people holding a mass?
No, actually not.
Oh.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Jackson
thinking we should
Square.
find.
Well,
Lucky
actually,
Star.
you figure you are probably somewhere nearby Jackson Square, because
Gotcha.
you're near the Temple District. Right.
So we'll go up to the circulation desk.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And how do we what would we do to
The drunken sailor.
yes
Putting in a
What do we
longboat
do
till he's sober. That's the way it works. Okay.
for a Klondike bar?
yes, all of these are good questions. Also, we don't know how to go about doing research in this sort of
Well, and so
Yeah.
the young man who's behind there, blonde-headed guy, wearing glasses, he looks at you and says, "Well, what are you attempting to research?"
we're looking into these demons known as the Blackened Denarians.
You see that his eyes get really, the Blackened Denarians. We haven't had really a Blackened Denarian in the Nevernever in, and he says, probably 1,500 years? It's been a while. Most of them stay to their own realms.
Yeah, we have one in particular who sort of destroys all of the info on him in our realm.
Nicodemus Archleon, yes.
Yeah. Oh, so do you have anything on him?
No, not a bit. Yeah. No, he's he
So
actually.
you have the thing that says weaknesses.
Yeah.
How to kill.
Well, I do. Okay, I do have a very small book on him. It's not terribly useful. I can show you where it is. It's quite old though, so I'm gonna have to ask you to be careful that you don't damage it.
I'll wear the gloves or whatever you guys do here.
Well, yes, actually, that's what we need you to do.
Oh, okay.
And so he actually reaches behind the desk and he hands you this, looks like a set of velvet gloves, and he hands them to you, and he says, "The rest of you are not allowed to touch the book,
That's fine.
on pain of
Not
death."
without the special gloves.
Yes. So on pain of death. Yes. So he walks down the hallway and takes you up these stairs. I caught that. He takes you up these stairs into what looks like kind of the top of the dome after a while. And you notice that as you move further up the dome, the books seem to get a little more ragged and possibly older. Very, very top of the dome, you see there's these 4 little windows that are looking out. And you kind of look out the windows and see the city as it stretches out. It's huge. It's a big, big city. And he says, yes, some of our oldest books and rarest books are kept up here. Hold on one second. And he kind of starts looking along the shelves, and he pulls out this little thin book that's bound. And he says, yeah, this is what we have. It's been copied several times. I can't, make sure that it's actually still true. Sometimes there are calculations or errors creep in, or intentionally people change things. But yes, you're welcome to use it at the table over there. And so he hands you this little thin book. It's interesting because the binding on it looks kind of like, the cheap bindings that you normally see on books once you've taken the cover off of them, the paper cover off of them. And it's got, kind of this gold leaf in it, and it says, Histories of Black and Denarians.
Okay.
I was thinking like Nicodemus, rantings, ravings, proof of concept.
There you go, right. Yeah, that's exactly it.
So I'm just going to very, very carefully read over it as thoroughly as possible, and also I'd like to.
Not a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, the guy's left. He went downstairs. So you pull it out. You start leafing through it. A lot of the pages are pretty heavily damaged. You get the feeling that the binding that they put on it was not the original one, but it's, several of the pages look like they're stained, water damage, burn damage, other liquid damage. You really don't want to conjecture. A lot of it is almost illegible. But you do get to the point where one of the last entries is Nicodemus Archelaon. And it says, Nicodemus Archelaon, originally mentioned in the Judeo-Christian Bible. You're like, who? Mentioned as being a Pharisee in the ancient Jewish church. And then there's an area that's kind of hard to read. And says, left the Roman Empire, accepted the coin of, I cannot remember the name of, hold on. Oh, he says, accepted the coin of, oh my gosh. Anduriel. Known to have command over shadows, can summon them, use them for his own means, can fly, first-rate swordsman, and seems to have a symbiotic relationship with the demon Anduriel.
So, Anduriel is one of the fallen angels?
Yeah, as far as you can tell.
Interesting. And so did I know that Nicodemus Archelaon was the Nicodemus of the Bible?
No, you
prior
had
to this?
no
Okay.
idea. Yeah.
All right. I will just, in addition to that information, investigate the pages for hidden symbols or
Give me an investigation check. Yeah.
indications. Ooh, I have a +3, so that's a 1.
You don't see anything really other than that seems to be useful in the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will take pictures.
You gonna show the pictures to the rest of the group? They're not allowed to touch the book.
Yeah, I will, but not in front of Della because I don't want my phone to fritz out.
Well, yeah, that's probably a good idea. In fact, interestingly enough, if you guys ever get near the book and try and touch it, your hands pass through it. It seems to be only when you have the special gloves that you can actually even touch the book, interestingly.
Fair enough, because honestly, I was sitting there and at one point I was like, that'd be funny. So they're like, ooh. But then at the same time I was like, hold on, under pain of death.
Yeah, maybe I don't want to do this.
Because then I was like, how'd they know?
Because you'd be
Would
dead.
touching the book cause death?
Yeah, might.
Right.
Yeah.
So at that point I was like,
No, it's funny because as your hands get closer to the book, it becomes more translucent and you can't even see it. And so, again, you kind of get your hand close to it and you're like, I'm not sure I can even touch that. And I'm not sure I really want to. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
When I take the pictures of the book, does it take pictures of the book?
Yeah, actually
Okay.
it does. Pretty easily. Yeah.
All right.
Now, you're not going to be able to take pictures of all the pages, but definitely the pages.
I'll just
regarding
mostly the
him,
ones
yeah.
that Archie on in the
Right.
cover, and if I see any interesting symbols
Pictures
that
and
I
stuff like
can't
that,
maybe make out or images, yeah.
Yeah.
And then 12 years later, we can flood the internet with those images.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, not a bad thing. So you put the book up, put it back in the shelf, start heading back downstairs. The young man that you saw meets you about halfway up, and he goes, "Yes, I assumed that you found what you needed."
I found something,
Yeah.
so
Well, I will definitely need the gloves back.
for sure.
He takes them back, and he says, "Okay, well, thank you." We do expect, since this, the Library of Thoth is actually a kind of a part of the worship of the goddess Thoth. We do expect a donation.
Do I have, those? I don't know if they did this back then. You remember those tokens that you used to collect to ride the trolley? That's like you would put money, you'd get tokens.
Yeah, I don't think they do that
Okay.
nowadays. Yeah, not for streetcars. No. You still got a little
I
change left if
I'll
you
give them
want.
some pocket change. I just didn't
What
know
are
if
you
I
gonna give
wanted to.
A couple pennies, couple nickels, a dime, a quarter.
I'll give them one quarter.
He kind of reaches out and picks it, and his eyes kind of get big, and he goes, "Oh, this is quite a generous donation. Thank you, milady. If is there anything else I can do to help you, please let me know."
If you get any more information about this, pass it on to my associate.
Hayseed? Yes.
Yeah.
I will be sure to do that.
If we're ever back in the Nevernever,
yeah, right.
we can hit him up.
I'll be sure to do that. It takes you a few minutes to get back down to the bottom floor, and you're kind of heading out the door. Hayseed's standing there. What do you want to do now?
I'm gonna try to find an exit point and get out of here, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
can open one wherever you want.
Just need to make sure wherever we go, we're gonna be safe.
Yeah.
So let's go find.
Do it at the end of an alleyway, for all that matter.
Yeah, but I'm thinking
Like a strategic exit
a
point.
strategic exit point somewhere that's near one of our houses. Maybe like either where she lives or
Okay.
where I live or where Bunk lives might be best.
Okay.
Or maybe where Volt lives because we
He
haven't
could
seen
be in
Volt for a
trouble. He was
while.
by himself while we were at.
Right. I mean,
So you're going to head towards the docks area.
yeah, I think.
All right.
Down for that.
AC takes you towards the docks area. There's a huge river that flows along beside the city. You see lots of boats, most of them sailboats, though a few of them are actually steamships that come rolling down the river. Sorry. And they're pulling up the docks. You get at the end of one of the docks near one of the warehouse, and you're going to try and open a exit for the Nevernever. Give me a roll. It's an evocation roll.
Please roll
Discipline.
well this time. I
That's
shouldn't
not bad.
talk to it. It's a 4.
All right. You reach out. You kind of,
It's a fun.
make your gestures.
I got a -1.
I didn't see the mics.
Mm.
I was so blanks.
Yeah. And you're able to kind of cut your way through the Nevernever, and you realize that you are in the warehouse area. You're not sure how far from Volt's warehouse, but it's definitely near enough that you recognize some of the buildings. So you're going to step through?
Yeah.
Okay. You step through. You're standing on a street where you see a lot of these rusty warehouses around. A couple of warehouses are actually occupied. You can hear what sounds like things being moved around. Maybe cranes are running, forklifts, things along those lines. You think you could probably... Who has... let me see. Who has... Streetwise? No.
I have driving.
Have rapport.
Give me a driving check. Anyone who wants to try and find out how far you are from Volt's warehouse.
I have scholarship.
I'm at 4.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you're only about 4 or 5 blocks from his warehouse.
Nice.
All right, so you start heading that direction, right?
Yeah.
You gonna walk or catch a bus or whatever? Do you
We're
want?
not that.
No, we're not.
Do you
4 or 5 blocks. That's not
Yeah,
much.
it's not that far. Yeah. So we begin walking. All right. So you've been knocking around your apartment not your apartment, your warehouse for a while, Volt, and you decide around 10 o'clock you're going to send out a text.
I was gonna call.
Oh.
Miranda.
Okay. Yeah, you just stepped out of the Nevernever, and all of a sudden your phone goes zzz, zzz, zzz. It looks like it's Volt.
Hello.
Hey, how'd the tracking of
right now?
old Cheeky Babe go?
We got her.
Good.
We're
Well, that's
actually
normal.
close.
Yeah,
Are you
sure.
home?
Yeah, I been kicking around for a little bit now.
Okay. We're gonna be there in just like we're a few blocks away.
Y'all need to ride?
If you want to meet us, we're southwest.
Yeah.
We're
It's kinda vague.
directional. We're
Yeah,
down
you
on
can actually you
You
can
got
see
a
what.
street name?
Yeah, you got street
Wrong
names.
side
Yeah,
of the
sure.
I'll
You
be there in a bit.
all right, you head out to pick them up. Yeah, takes you about 15 minutes to get there. Sure enough, they're walking down the sidewalk. They've got this girl. You're not sure who she is. She's wearing black jeans and a really nice purple blouse. Yeah,
With a sword on her head.
with a sword on her hip.
I'm gonna roll the window down and go,
Cosplay.
My face is like melted on half the side.
oh yeah, you're
and,
still
like,
burning.
Yeah, she looks pretty bad. Yeah.
Did the van blow up?
Yes, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
We're not sure where the van is at this moment.
No, that's not good.
We just came from an alternate dimension where we were hiding out from some demons.
And you
How was
stole a
your
princess?
You stole a princess. yeah.
Basically.
She's in the other castle.
This is Hera, remember from...
I don't think you ever met Hera.
Oh, he wasn't in the place when we rescued her?
Yeah, he was there.
Oh, you're right. Yes, you do recognize Hera. I'm sorry. Yeah, you are correct. You recognize her. This is Hera.
She
Yeah.
looks
She looks
A
different.
little different.
Yeah.
clad a bit differently.
Yeah.
Volt says, the demon child.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
about
about
right.
I could tackle her and rip her in half.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was one of your thoughts. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I
I put on
I-
my tinfoil hat real quick.
show him the picture that we took in the Nevernever. I'm like, we went to another dimension. It was pretty dope, honestly.
Damn. You mean I could have been a dragon in a medieval town?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
probably
sure
nobody
you
would've
had a
cared
really
either.
good
Would've cared.
time as well, though.
Bunk and Swift look like they were actually at a Ren Fair.
Yeah.
Nice.
Give
Ooh,
me
you
a
should've seen
scholarship
Bunk.
check or a lore check.
Did
Either
we get a
one.
picture? Did you get a picture of Bunk?
Huh? Yeah, we were all.
Of course,
It's a
Oh, that's
selfie.
right. We did a selfie.
Group selfie. Like, hey, this is what he looks like under his glamour.
Yeah, you noticed
You
this.
look badass.
Yeah, he does look pretty badass. So does
I
Swift.
give you a flip
It's
of
like
this
a full
Yeah, he looks
on
normal now.
Robin
yeah,
Hood and Little John of there.
You're looking through the pictures of the different things that they've shown you, and you flip across one of the pages, and you notice that there's a picture of a spear.
Oh, from the book?
Yeah, from the book. I think you missed that.
Oh.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a spear. Yeah.
It looks pretty cool.
It looks a lot like the spear she's carrying. You think you missed that?
I said, man, that's a cool spear.
It's a lot of spears, you know. He's got a spear.
He's
I
got a spear. You got a spear. Everybody's
Yeah.
got a spear. What's going on right there? Lou's got a spear. Yeah,
He does,
it's
yeah.
not a thing. Yeah.
Magical spear.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it looks like actually her spear. Yeah, because the blade on her spear is very distinctive. Yeah. Mm. It looks like the spear of destiny.
Yeah, there was a library and everything was kind of like lined up with how New Orleans was. It was
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Have to go back there sometime.
Yeah. You gonna let her know that you see the spear?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I said, oh, that's a cool spear. And I point to the
Looks
picture.
like your spear.
didn't notice that before.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of a drawing of your spear, what it looks like,
Mhm.
and there's a bunch of notations in the margin. You're not sure you recognize the language.
Okay. Anybody recognize this language?
Give me a lore check.
Y'all make another one?
No.
Five.
It's Latin.
Yeah, that-
You recognize it. You kind of speak a smattering of Latin, so you recognize it immediately. You can't tell what it says. Yeah, you speak a smattering of Latin as well, and so you kind of look at it, and it looks like there's also a drawing, but it's partially burned off of a sword. Actually, there's 3 swords. And so it's partially burned off. You can't really see what it says, but the bottom of it says, the swords of the Jewish Christ are for the redemption of the lost. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then written across the top of the spear, it says, "The spear of destiny seeks no redemption. It only seeks war."
This is this.
Oh. That's interesting.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Based on some things that have happened.
Mhm.
Okay, so can I determine based on this if this is useful in some way, or there's some way that I'm not accessing it? Okay,
No, sorry.
gotcha.
Yeah. You guys have gotten back to the warehouse probably at this point. Yes.
I need somebody to make a phone call for me.
Okay. Who are you calling?
I need you to call Lucky Charms. What's his name again?
Oh, no, you have to, Jody. You have to do that with your chalice that you put water into, but not coffee because it makes the picture Jody.
Nothing.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
He's probably looking for you.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I really need to let them know that I'm alive.
Do you want to swing by your place and get the chalice? Okay. So she asks to go be brought by her place over by Frenchman Street, which is a little out of the way, but hey.
All right. Sure.
So you head down by her place. You get to her house. You disarm your wards, step inside. The chalice is there on the table. You probably keep it out. You fill it full of water and do the spell to contact him. As you begin swirling the water, immediately kind of splashes up and goes down. And then you see Della!
Hey! Just letting you know that I am okay after all.
Well, yes. Wait, what? What? So you broke your... Wait, we got a notification from the Nevernever that you were in danger.
Yes, we were.
Probably still are, to be honest.
Yeah, we were being stalked by one of the Denarians.
Which one?
Yeah,
Nicodemus.
Oh,
The Denarian.
And his eyes get kind of big because you can kind of see his reflection in the pool. And he says, "Oh, the Denarian."
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
yeah. So anyway, long story short, we crashed the van, but I opened his portal to Nevernever.
Wait, the van? What van are you talking about?
Our van. You haven't seen it, but
It's
so
really cool.
we went to the
Is that the one with the paintings on the side?
Oh yeah, you have. When did you see it? Are you stalking me?
Don't worry about it. Anyway, so what happened with the van?
Anyway, so it's left somewhere in New Orleans, and I opened a place into the Nevernever, and
Escape.
anyway, we escaped. We regrouped. We're back. I just want you to know I'm alive.
So Nicodemus is in
He's
New
somewhere
Orleans.
in New Orleans.
Are any other Denarians with him?
Oh, just a
There
couple.
were two. There was one that looked like stars. Her body was made all of stars, and the other one was on fire.
Yeah.
And
Fire
then,
bitch.
And
Fire bitch.
Nicodemus killed Sidney St. Clair.
Oh.
Beheaded him.
The Devonay,
Mhm.
wow. He says, oh, well, that's a bit of a interesting. He says, okay, so the fiery woman, she could actually throw flames out, right?
Yes,
That sounds like Lashiel.
that sounds right.
And then the one who is made of stars, that sounds like Varthiel.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Right, okay.
Do they have anything on them?
No.
Great.
I think one of them has fire on them.
Yeah.
The other one has like
Yeah.
stars
Right.
on them.
That's all I've got.
So,
Alrighty, well, so I'm still kicking and alive. I don't have that pin anymore, but
I'll get you another one.
at the moment, it looked like it might be dicey. So
Right. I'll get you another one. That's not a problem.
it still is dicey.
Are you
but
still at the same place?
I'm currently at my home, but yes, we're
Right.
back in New Orleans.
Okay. Then I will make sure to send someone with a new pin for you so we can keep track of whether you're in danger or not. All right. Well, good. Thank you for letting me know that you're okay. I'm not sure that the White Council will be able to do anything with the Denarians, but I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
All right. And then it goes out.
Man, y'all should have called me.
Well,
3 Denarians?
yeah.
We didn't have time.
You-
It was very time.
You were very excited about your date.
We didn't want to bother you.
Oh, it's okay, all right.
Didn't
Yeah.
really have time either.
You know, when it all started, it was just a low key B&E.
Honestly,
And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden we were like going to die, and so we didn't have time to say, "Hey, Volt."
It's kind of like when you guys were at Geotronics and we're going to scout out the area. And it was going to be a low key scouting out the area. And
how many times have we failed
things
to
went
just do a low key
pear
being?
shaped.
I don't think we know what that is.
So what I'm hearing is just charge in guns blazing next time.
Might not be.
If
Same
we
thing
do
as doing
that,
the same thing,
if that's
expecting
the
different
plan,
results.
if that's the
What
plan
kind of
going into it, we
inventory?
might actually do something right for once.
Right?
We might
We actually
accidentally
sneak
do the
in,
opposite.
Yeah, actually sneak in.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I'm glad y'all survived.
you have
What is
a
we
word?
are too. It was a
couple
little
of
dicey.
things.
And then we were worried that something happened to you while we were gone.
Oh yeah, great things.
Something happened. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Get some information.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, lots of information.
Okay,
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, really good
What kind
information.
of information?
The great kind.
Okay, like just personal for you information.
Oh
or
no,
like share
yeah,
with
you
the
know,
group?
got some stuff about Scavis and their whereabouts and
Oh, nice.
players and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Not to be
Probably
confused with
initially.
scabies, which is
Yeah.
really yucky.
I don't know
Was-
anything about Scabies.
That's right.
Was he with us whenever we went to the Lalawari mansion, or did you had already peeled off
No,
at that
he'd already
point?
peeled off.
No, I think he went with you guys.
We told
When you
We
went to find out if Gabriel
Found
Beaumont
that
had been
Gabriel
attacked.
Beaumont was
Oh,
gone.
yeah.
Were you
I believe
with
he
us?
was there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I rolled up with 2 other people.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know that we suspect Deacon
Deacon
Fontaine.
Fontaine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that we suspect the church and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
So I want to kind of lay a trap for him. I think that's maybe
Yeah.
the next step, but we gotta kind of do some sort of regrouping and plan because we got our asses handed to us.
Hmm.
So, what's the next step?
What is the next step?
Deacon Fontblood?
I mean, that's the most direct line
Do
we have
we
right now.
know where Gabriel is?
No,
We don't.
We
not
still
yet.
don't know.
gonna
He's still
try-
on the lam.
I'm gonna try
Okay.
calling him again. I left his phone back at his house in case he came back. Just
Go
gonna see
straight
what
to
happens.
voicemail. Straight to voicemail.
Do we
Yeah.
want to call the police department and see if possibly a van with lots of pictures was impounded recently?
It's only
Yeah,
been probably an evening. I mean,
But it's kind of
Yeah,
like in the
we
middle
wrecked
of the
it
road,
into another
smack
car.
into another
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
So I'm thinking
it probably
that would
was-
send up some signals to somebody.
You could also, have the police say, "Oh, there's been a terrible wreck." That way, if we go retrieve it, it's not a trap. We just go find it at the police station.
true.
Ah.
So do you want to
Let them
call
impound
Brian
it.
Johnson to see if he knows
So we
anything
don't
about it?
Ambushed.
Yeah.
You know?
All
Maybe.
right.
Retrieve it from the police station instead of the scene is actually better for us.
You call Brian
He's
Johnson.
captain, correct?
Yeah, call Captain Johnson. Get his secretary. Secretary
I know.
says, Brian Johnson's office. What can I do for you?
Hi, this is Della Fontenot. I was just wondering if I could talk to
Captain Johnson.
thank you, Captain Johnson, about an accident.
Give me a minute. Let me see if he's busy.
Okay.
A couple minutes go by. I'll put you through to Captain Johnson.
All right.
Click. Phone picks up. Hello, Captain Johnson. What can I do for you?
Hi, this is Della Fontenot.
Della, how are you?
I'm good now, but we had a bit of an accident.
Hmm.
We were being attacked by a very vicious, really old creature, and we ran into a car.
Troll?
No, Nicodemus. You know the biblical Nicodemus who has a spear that can destroy people and
Doesn't
things.
have a spear. What are you
She's got
talking
that.
about?
Ah,
She's
never
got the
mind.
spear for.
What are you even
Didn't he
talking
used to
about?
have it?
No.
Anyway, Nicodemus, he's evil.
He carries a sword. Go back to sleep. Anyway, so
Why do I think he has a spear?
he has
She
no
has a
spear. She
I
has a
got it.
spear.
The book has
You are
spear.
making
The book had the
stuff
spear.
up.
This is a write
The
your own
book-
adventure game.
I think I don't know. Right?
Well, then what does the book have? Why does the book have a spear if it was about Nicodemus?
Your phone fritzes out because you're just making stories up.
Fine.
I'll call him back.
Okay, you called
Yeah.
Brian Johnson's office.
Hey, is this the secretary?
Yes.
I'm like, hey, we got disconnected from Captain Johnson. Can you
Oh, right. I'll put you right through. Hi, he picks up Brian Johnson.
Hey, this is Miranda. Della killed her phone.
Oh, yes. Wizards have that tendency to do to
Look.
their phones.
Long story short, probably safer for you if you don't know. We had a car, a van with a really amazing paint job. Get into an accident last night. Has that been picked up by your guys or impounded?
Let me check and see. Give me a couple minutes.
Okay.
He put you on hold. A few minutes goes by.
We do have a van or two, but I'm not seeing the awesome paint job that you're talking about.
Oh no!
Oh, it'd be so-
Actually, a few minutes goes by, comes back on, and he says, yeah, there's a van that was listed as abandoned over in the Garden District. We haven't moved it yet. We just tagged it with the orange sticker to make sure that people knew it was abandoned and needed to be picked up. I don't think anything's been filed on it either, so if you were in an accident, no one's reported it.
That's because we disappeared into another dimension right after getting into the accident. But
Interesting.
do we want to just go pick it up, or do we think that's not safe?
That's not safe.
Hey, just let your guys get it, or whoever,
Okay.
and we'll get it from them.
Okay, so I'll send a tow truck, and they'll bring it to the impound yard. Let them know that you're here to pick up your van, and we'll carry it. We'll take it from there. Okay.
Okay.
Give it probably till maybe 2 in the afternoon to get actually put into the impound yard. It'll take a few minutes, a few hours to get it picked up, hauled over there and processed. But yeah, check in about 2, maybe about 4 hours, and I'll let you know where it is.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Any idea? Should I look for anything on the van? Anything in particular that I should be concerned about?
Well, we were being. Just tell whoever picks it up to be on the lookout for someone following them. If they don't feel safe about it, yeah, they can fly. I don't know how much you want to tell them, but
Okay. I'll send some guys who are kind of in the know then to make sure that they're careful. Got it. Sure. All right. And he hangs up.
so that's that. Yeah.
Okay.
We go talk to old Deacon Boy.
Do we want to trap them?
I think we need to come up with a plan to trap him. As of right now, I don't think he knows that we're onto him. Last time I spoke to him, I
think you told him about Gabriel Beaumont.
I told
last
him-
time, yeah.
Gabriel Beaumont was missing, and that and I asked him if he knew where he was. He said he'd seen him earlier, which is what made me suspicious.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he picked up on the fact that I was suspicious.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sure.
as of right now, we can assume we have the element of surprise, but we shouldn't bank on it.
You want to go to the St. Louis Cathedral? That's normally where he is, being a deacon. Do you want to go check him out there?
So do we want to do something like call him up and give him information, say that we found
Hera?
and then that we've got her at blah, 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 and see what happens?
Maybe not say that we found her, but we have information about where she is.
Okay.
Yeah, because if we say we found her, he might ante up
Here's
with
the
the
thing.
Denarians.
If we don't say
That's-
that we
yeah.
found her, he'll know it's a trap, because if he's working with him, then he knows that we found her.
Yeah. I'm saying,
That's
We
true.
have to
Okay,
make him
yeah.
think we trust him.
but if we tell them he's going to send the Denarians there, so are we
I
ready
see.
to fight
We're
them?
not going to. Yeah, we're not going to send them to where she actually is.
Yeah.
We're just going to.
Well, we should meet
We'll
him on
say
holy
that
ground somewhere.
We've got her at the Superdome, and then and so they come to the Superdome, and then we'll we're
But the
wherever.
hologram
We should
thing
meet
is
him.
a good
We should
idea.
meet him on holy ground somewhere, right?
Yeah, then we
I'm sure that's
use the
got something
Saints
against
to our
the-
advantage. And we,
I mean, yeah, the Superdome is practically holy ground.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's
The
it.
Saints,
definitely is.
the Saints go marching in there every Sunday.
That's right.
You guys can go there and think it's holy ground. I do not trust it.
I mean,
What?
the
Uh-huh.
cemetery right
That's
next
pretty much
to the
heresy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
church
that's okay.
is
I do 5 Hail Marys in the
consecrated.
field and we're good.
my only thing about that though is that we're talking about someone who routinely every 400 or 500 years breaks into the Vatican to.
Yeah, I it doesn't sound like he's got too much of a problem walking onto consecrated ground. So we just got to give ourselves the best.
It still might weaken him a little bit.
It would.
He might cause like a lot of power surge to break in, so we might have a standing chance.
Well, realize that anytime he has to come into anywhere he's not been invited, it's going to lessen his power. Now,
And I can,
you know, if your power is over 3,000 and you're lessening your power by 10%, you're still 2,000, which still makes you pretty, you know, tough. But again, it all depends on where he's trying to get into. Like St. Louis Cathedral, he ain't going in there. It's just too holy for him, and the threshold is ridiculous. So, you know, again, you would think that the Denarians could probably not go into somewhere like the St. Louis Cathedral. Other churches, you're not sure.
well, St. Louis Cathedral is probably a good place to corner Fontainebleau at the very least. But yeah, I guess the question is, are we ready to go another round with those guys right now?
Yeah.
Because you got your
We
bolt.
do have our
Yeah.
dragon.
I didn't get to throw any hands.
Yeah.
Well, we did, I guess, get to rest in the Nevernever, so we should have. I mean, like my sword should have its charges back,
Right.
and
Right.
I just think we
if
should.
yours has
Well, but
charges.
okay, but your sword is per session, so you're kind
Oh,
of
never mind.
yeah.
It's still used up.
Yeah. I have nothing that makes me special right now.
you have the spear.
I have the spear,
We're all special around
but
here.
That's right.
I have no
And you have some
points
other
to
abilities that
activate
go
some of
with
the
that
abilities.
too, so don't forget. Yeah.
I think we just need
So,
to
yeah.
figure out where if we're going to have this. Like we want to have it on our terms and on our
Right.
ground. It's someplace that we pick out instead of breaking into the place and going in.
Yeah.
Just
Right,
so we
right,
got
right.
a little bit more of a chance.
Can we get like blessed bullets again or blessed weapons again?
Yeah, Deacon Fontainebleau was our hookup for that. So, I mean, well, there's that rec center that Gabriel Beaumont's involved with that was a church.
Isn't that where the attack happened?
That's where you got your spear.
Yeah, it's where they had a reliquary there, and
Mhm.
that's where I got my spear. There was an attack there, but it was by like a henchman,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we
Can you
know?
ordain,
human henchman.
Can you bless waters?
I mean, I am a licensed minister, but
Hey, here we go.
I don't know. Can I?
I don't even try.
Yeah, I'll try.
Do you want to bless water and stuff like that? Let's see. Let's make a conviction check.
Okay.
Because that's supposed to be acts of
Pretty
faith.
good.
Ooh, that's
So it's even, so it's a 6.
Yeah, you're thinking you could.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I mean,
make holy water. Sure.
all right.
Not sure you could bless bullets, but you could.
Time.
You're not sure you could bless bullets, but you're not sure you couldn't either. You're just not sure. You've never tried it before. But you can definitely make holy water or holy oil or stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
The book didn't have anything in it that said any kind of weaknesses for the.
No, not that you saw. It just kind of explained. I mean, the big thing it told you about that Nicodemus Archeleon was mentioned in the Bible. And that's about it.
Could it have something to do with like the joining of the 3 swords? Like make him atone for his evilness? Maybe.
You don't know.
Well, one of the swords is dead.
Well, no.
No, that was the 4th sister
Probably-
sword. Right?
Oh, that's right.
The
I
sister
forgot
sword
that was the
for
sister sword.
Tisania's sword is.
Do I know anything about where I would find other people who have swords of the cross?
Would I know that?
Give me a lore check real quick.
I was gonna say, you might
Would I
also-
know that as a?
No. That's even.
It's just a 1.
You're pretty sure that when the wielders of the swords of the cross need to be somewhere, the Lord works in mysterious ways to make sure that they're there. They're not in New Orleans, as far as you know. You know that currently the only sword of the cross that is being wielded is. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's 2 of them. You know that Sonia is wielding the sister to your sword, and that Michael Carpenter is wielding essentially Excalibur.
Okay.
That one of the swords is in Chicago in the safekeeping of some wizard up there, but nobody's wielding it yet.
Got it. Okay. Well. Yeah. So I guess we should
Set a trap.
set a trap.
What are you thinking of?
Well, His turf or ours? That's our options.
Are you trying to trap Deacon Fontainebleau or
Fontainebleau for now, because
Well, I figured like we called Fontainebleau and say we've got Hera and so we need some help, and he'll ask where do you have her, and we'll say wherever we have it, and so what he'll do is tell the Black and Denarians, and
That's
then
what I was
come
gonna say.
after us, and then
right.
that would be how I would perceive that would happen.
We could just
Do
take her
we-
to the St. Louis Cathedral and say, "Hey, we're here."
Yeah, we could just not
Yeah,
give
we
him
can
heads
just do
up and
that,
just
yeah.
show up.
Show up, but that doesn't, but we're trying to make sure that he's actually the
Right.
bad seed.
So you want him to bring the Denarians so we know that he's actually bad?
We're just, we're just
Then he's
more
gonna
information.
come either way. I think.
It's either he goes okay and comes up with something, or we get attacked. And that's, if we don't get attacked, then we know probably he's not the guy that.
He's not the informant.
Right.
I'm gonna look at Hera and say, Hera, do you want me to leave you with somebody safe, or do you want to come with us?
Well, who
I
can...
don't want her to try and chase after us.
Right. She says, well, who should I be left with that's safe?
I was thinking maybe I could leave you with Captain Johnson in the police department.
She says, if you
No.
trust him to take care of me, I guess.
I think he's a good guy. I just don't think he's
Yeah.
equipped to protect her from what's
Okay, so
coming.
who do we
They
know?
got mollywop
Who
by
do we
the
know that we can
frickin'
trust?
Literal only person I would trust right now
half-ass
is missing.
cultist.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I mean, who else is there to?
Well, why not
I
Lucky
just
Charm
hate to
Boy?
take her into.
Can we not store her
But
at
Lucky
the?
Charms is far away.
Oh, where's the main? I don't know where the main base is.
Ireland. Yeah. Which, you'd have to go through the Nevernever to get there.
I'm not
So,
keen
yeah.
to take her into a fight, but
Challenge.
if the Denarians can't get into the church, then we're only dealing with Fontainebleau when we go there.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess I'll ask her, Hera. What do you think? Choice is yours.
I don't know. She's 12, remember? So she
No,
says,
I know.
I don't want them to do what they did to me before. Understandable.
We could also let Johnson know where we set the trap.
Mrs.
Oh, Brown.
Mrs. Brown.
Yeah.
Do we
Should
want
we
her
save
blood
the
on our
Audubon
hands?
Park?
Would she be in?
Could
Would
look.
she be in safe in the Autumn Night's home?
Could-
Possibly.
It has a
Possibly.
pretty good
I mean-
threshold, I would think.
Probably, yeah.
I could, well, not today, but tomorrow I could set up a stronger threshold for it
In
too.
the realm of the
Yeah.
Autumn King or whatever.
Yeah, I was about to say that might not be a bad place
Could put
with the king.
You want to run her over to Mrs. Brown's brownstone?
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
All right.
This is Brown.
Do you
I
know
think if
any-
we spend a bunch of time prepping for her to do that, then we're gonna lose it.
All right. So you head over to the Audubon Park and head to the brownstone. As you get out of the car, Mrs. Brown comes down the steps and she says, "Oh, are you staying for the evening? It's only about 2:00 in the afternoon.
Well, Hera is. This is Hera.
Hera?
Hera? This is Mrs.
Oh,
Brown.
nice to meet you, Hera. What did you need me to do?
She's going to be staying here for a little bit, so just kind of,
Oh, should I make up a room?
please.
Oh, okay. Well, come with me, little one. I'll show you to your room. And she puts her arm around Hera, and Hera starts chatting with her. And she says, "I'll get you some cookies and some lemonade." And Hera says, "Oh, that sounds good." And they go heading up the stairs and inside the front door and blah blah blah.
Can
Yeah.
Harry use phones?
Can,
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's not very strong. She's really good at manipulation of energy, which means she could probably actually keep a phone running pretty well because she can keep the mystical energies from
Maybe we
infecting.
should leave her a burner. Just in
burner?
case she needs to call
A
us.
burner.
I don't have one. Anybody have a burner?
We can get one.
Yeah, you probably get one from Walmart.
Does Mrs.
Track
Brown
phone.
have a phone?
Or a gas station
Miss
somewhere.
Brown has a landline.
Yeah, but those can be cut.
Mm.
Do we have anyone else who could stay here as extra security?
Swift could stay. He
Is
really
he
doesn't want to leave
gonna?
you, but he could.
I can just leave her my phone,
Okay.
and then if she gets into trouble, she can call you or you or
Okay.
you or you. Or, well, maybe
Yeah.
not you, but
I just want.
Grandma, I'm kind of.
Yeah, your phone's dead, so yeah.
What about the dwarves?
You'd have to find them in the park, and you could do that. You could get a couple of the dwarves.
I think us
You'd
splitting
probably
the
just
party
find
again,
the
probably isn't
extension
great.
cord that they have running to the AC. Or
Yeah.
Just follow the
Not wrong. Not wrong.
I could see them actually being so concerned about the AC they would not pay attention.
Now that being said, Swift is willing to stay with Hera to protect her if you command him to, but he's just not going to do it unless you tell him to.
I think we need more much firepower.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to lessen our power.
Right. So you could probably go over and get some of the autumn people to protect her. You could probably do that. All right. So you head over into the park, walk around Lou's tree 3 times Widdershins, and the Autumn King shows up, and you are going to tell him what?
Tell them everything, just what we're into, and that apparently they're after this girl. We need to keep her safe, and we're going to try to take care of this.
He looks at me and he says, well, this seems like an internal matter for the church then.
But they're attacking us.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
And he kind of says, the Christians have always been difficult when it comes to deal with the Fae. I understand what you're saying.
no.
Okay, well, look, I can send some of the Fae Knights over there to kind of watch out for if you'd like. I can do that. I can spare 3 or 4 of them to kind of make sure that nothing happens to her. All right, I'll do that. And so he says, okay. And so he says, you notice he rounds up 3 or 4 of the guys who are around the park. They look like just people who are just kind of running in the park. But you're able to tell that they're much more than that. They're actually guys who have the Fey armor and the Fey swords and the shields. And they head towards the brownstone. Kind of ethereally beautiful young men and women. Once you see through the glamours that they're using to appear normal. And so they head over towards the brownstone. There's 4 of them, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, now we just got to go on with the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He either is onto us or he's not.
Mm-hmm.
We can try to announce ourselves or come up with some elaborate plan to lure him out, or we could just go right where we know he's at.
There you go.
Or it's less likely the Denarians can get to us. And I hope I'm not wrong about this, but I also wish I was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we're gonna get the truth out of him is the thing.
Well, I've got some
I was gonna
suggestions.
say it can't be me who does that.
When you twist his head around backwards, he'll either tell you the truth or die. So.
So that's your call. Like I said, this is I'm just protecting my butt and everybody else. So this is important to you. So we need to.
Okay.
Can you make some truth serum?
I was just wondering about that.
Give me a lore check.
We're just getting really drunk and talkative.
Man of the cloth.
Oh, he drinks.
You should see our priest.
He
Fair enough. I got a +6.
Yeah, you're pretty sure that you could make some truth serum. It might take you around an hour or so to, kind of get it all squared away. You would definitely want to do it at your place, where you have the equipment to do it. But yeah, you're pretty sure you could make some truth serum.
Now, that being said, a little while ago you said it was around 2:30 or so.
In the
We've
afternoon.
already been doing a few things, moving around. Went to Miss Brown's place, and around what time is it now?
It's still probably only about 3:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure that we weren't getting too late,
Yeah, late.
in the evening.
Yeah, I gotcha.
If we're trying to still do this today.
No, my goody what's are attacking me.
So do we need to stop?
Mm-hmm. I
Okay.
think it's the grilled cheese sandwich from the bowling alley.
Could be. All right. So we'll stop there for the night with you planning to go after Deacon Fontainebleau, possibly with Truth Serum, and Hera currently staying at Miss
smart.
Brown's Brownstone. So we'll stop there. Cool. All right. Next game, you will definitely have all of your fate points back because we will be kind of in a new session. This